Hey guys, we're doing good. Let me get Instagram up so they can get ready. Go live. Okay, okay. Cool. Pin comment. Okay, cool. We're good. We're good. We're good. Okay, so I'm gonna. Good morning, baby. Hey guys, I'm gonna put this. Whatever a word I want to put this. Okay, I'm gonna put this. I don't know. I'm gonna put this here. Y'all, I'm like, I do not know how I want to do this. Okay, so I'm gonna put this here. My setup. I forgot how I want to set you guys up. How do I want to set Instagram up, huh? Where do I want to put you guys on Instagram? Because I want you guys to be part of this class. But I have a whole setup. Hey guys, how are you? Okay, so let me get everyone set up, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get Instagram set up. Whoa, see? I need a stand. I don't have a stand for you guys. Instagram has no setup. So we're going to put Instagram here, I guess. I should have brought my tripod. I didn't bring my tripod. I didn't think it was important until now. Okay, Instagram. You're gonna just be like sitting there. Okay. Okay, guys. So hello everyone. It's a lot going on, but I want to make sure that we're getting trainings in and content. And so there we go. Okay, Instagram just gonna Instagram's gonna be like right here, maybe. Okay, Instagram gonna be like right here. So I don't like y'all below though. I want y'all up here. So we're gonna put y'all like right here, maybe. Let's see if this works. Okay. Hopefully this works. Okay. So I want to get these trainings in. Hello, Lenora. How are you? So shout out to YouTube. I want to get these trainings in. I promise you guys consistent content. That's what I promised. So I'm trying to deliver on that promise. It is a very, very, very busy time. I'm signing on a lot of, sending out a lot of proposals, signing on clients. So I have been like working like literally like long nights. And I have stuff due today and stuff due tomorrow. That. So I'm taking out the way I do my lives, that I schedule them like in the sense of like, to me, like this is a meeting, just how I would go meet with someone else. I do my lives like they're meetings. So they're in my calendar. And so I'm setting aside this time to do this training. And so I wanted to do some trainings that kind of go back over some of the basics because people are missing out on the basics. I think we're getting so complicated that where we are right now, like a lot of people are missing the basics. And by missing the basics, you are really slowing down your progress. So we're going to spend time in this training, in this classroom, we're talking about the basics of platform building. I did a huge boss builder training about 2017, and I'm going to be redoing one coming up. So for my entire tribe, get ready, because last time we did it in 2017, we had over 1,500 people take the training. And so we're going to do it again in 2020, the top of 2020. And so get ready for this. It's going to be amazing. Hey, the words are then. And so I want to use this this time together where, you can take notes. You can, I think you're going to definitely want to definitely take notes. And this is also a upsell because I got it, I'm not doing anything kind of for free. This is also an upsell for my workbook Boss Builder that has been selling like crazy. And so you guys know that the digital copies of Boss Builder and the S Word are 50% off, the digital version. And so I'm going to be using some of the content from Boss Builder, the workbook, that covers basically like 30 days to build your tribe. This is like the one-on-one resource that I wrote that really gives you the understanding. But we're going to be using this training to get your mindset basically reset, okay, for your business, whether it's retail or whether it is service-based, okay? Yes, Charmaine, it is amazing. And so we're going to go back over the basics. Now, if you're like, I already know this stuff, I already know what you're just going to teach, awesome, then this video is not for you, and I will see you on another video. No lost feelings, okay? But this is for those of you who, to be honest, you got lazy. Let's just get real. You got lazy. And because you got lazy, things are slipping through the cracks and your business is not where it should be. So we're going to go over the P3 system that I teach. This is my system. This is the way that I teach it. If you have a different way, awesome, but this is my way. So the P3 system, again, if you're watching the comments, you can drop down the P words because some of you guys already know these words. But the P3 system consists of 3 words. Does anyone know what those 3 words are? Now I'm streaming from Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So anyone can comment off of any of the platforms, but does anyone know one of those 3 words? We got 3 P words that we need to cover, right? And if you know them in order, you can put them in order. But there's 3 words that we basically break down as the P3 system. Does anybody know? I'm just want to see. I know some of y'all are like just waiting for me to just say it. But if you don't know what those 3 words are, the 3 words are platform, people, and product. Platform, people, and product. And product can be interchangeable for services, right? But basically, every great business is going to have those 3 things. They're going to have a platform, which is basically where is their missions. We're going to break this all down. Missions, vision, purpose, all that. That's the platform, right? That's where you're going to promote their products, basically, right? Then you have the people, your target market, who you're going to sell to, your community, right? Then you have the product. You have to have something to sell. Every business has something to sell, whether it's tangible or intangible. You have to have a product or a service. So that's the system: platform, people, product. And that's the way that I teach to break it down to you guys, is in those 3 systems. Okay. So we're going to first start off with platform. We're going to break it down. Then we're going to move over to people. We're going to break it down. Then we're going to go over to product, and then we're going to break that down. Okay. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments and I will definitely see them. Okay. The first thing is platform. We're going to go back over these basics because a lot of people have forgotten the basics, because I'm seeing it a lot. I'm seeing it in droves. And so this is why we're going back over. Okay. The first thing is your platform. The reason why we're starting here is that many people, they have a product before they have the people and before they have the platform, right? And while that's awesome, it's awesome to have product, awesome to have something to sell. Without the structure of these first 2 things, you won't be able to sell the third thing well, okay? So let's first talk about platform. Now, in platform, okay, the first thing is purpose, okay? Purpose. That's the first thing you need, is purpose. Why should you even exist with this business? Now, I know they can be kind of harsh, right? It's like your mother telling you, why should I have had you, right? But essentially, though, it's very important to know, why should it exist? Again, we could say, oh, well, this product should be in people's hands, this product, but at the end of the day, though, I mean, why are you, is there anything to fight for, right? It's kind of like Milan, right? Kind of fighting for, her country, fighting for. You have to have a purpose for why you're doing what you're doing, right? And without a purpose, you will find that it will be easy for you to quit. And this is the reason why I'm going over these things, because I'm seeing people quit their companies and their businesses faster than ever. And it's because they did not have, at the end of the day, a really good purpose. Their purpose may have been like, oh, I want to make money for my family. Or, oh, their purpose would have been, I've heard people say, oh, I'm starting a business because, I just want to help people. Well, there's a lot of ways to help people. What makes it this way? Right. And so you have to, hold on, guys, I need to block somebody off of Instagram. So you have to realize that the first thing is purpose. Purpose is not like something you just pick, right? It has to be a very solid reason for why this business should be in existence. Because when it comes to those fighting times and those testing times, if you don't have a strong enough purpose, you're going to quit your business and it's going to be real fast. And I see people, they'll shut down their business in a minute, which means you do not have a good enough purpose, okay? The second thing within platform is that you have to have a mission. And there's a difference between a purpose and a mission, right? And the reason why we're teaching this is because you guys need to understand that this is all set up before we even get to I'm selling something, right? We got to first figure out, what is the mission? So a mission is like an assignment, right? So like we talk about like our mission. Our mission is to do what? Now, this means that your mission has to have activity. That means that if I was selling, and we can think about the most simplest thing, coffee, right? Now, on the surface, you may say, oh, it's just coffee, right? But what makes certain coffee shops major than others, right? What makes people drawn to a brand, a community of people, right? Versus just, oh, I just need some coffee, right? People love coffee. First of all, people love coffee. And there is an appreciation for coffee. There's appreciation for the taste of it. There's appreciation for the communities that coffee shops build, right? And so what is our mission behind not just the product, but the platform? Remember, your platform it's something that you step onto, right? A platform, think about it, like essentially, right? If I step onto a platform, right, it's something where usually there is a podium, there's a mic, right? It's the platform, it's the place in which I present something. Right. So when I call myself a platform coach, it's because I'm teaching people how to build something that you can, number one, stand on. That's huge, which goes back to purpose and activity and mission, right? But it's also something where your voice can be heard, right? Because every great company, they have a voice and they have something that they want to bring to the marketplace, and you want people to hear you. The third thing is delivery. When you're on a platform, you have the ability to deliver something to people via that voice, right? To deliver, whether it's hope, whether it's inspiration, whether it's change, whether it's support, but you have the ability to deliver something. And that's why I teach it in this way, because we're not just building something to sell, we're building platforms. A platform is bigger than a product, right? Because remember, as I teach all the time, platforms can change, but your platform remains the same. Right? Your mission. Now, some things may change over time, but at the core, usually, that thing stays true, right? And so you want to make sure that you have something to stand on. So within that, that's what we talk about. In your mission, you have to have activity. Activity is basically saying, okay, our mission is for people to do what? For people to experience what, right? We have to have those missions in place. And the reason why is because you have to have measurements to say, okay, what are we actually doing as a company, right? Not just selling product, but what is actually our greater mission? You guys got that? So it's having a greater mission at play. And that's what you want to think about. What is our mission? What's our assignment? What do we seek to do in the community? What do we seek to do in people's lives? What is the mission? And that makes your company bigger than just a company that's just selling something. Right. A mission also really gives body and weight to the business, right? It helps for people to attach to something greater than the product. Okay. So again, we want to make sure that our platforms have purpose, and that within that purpose that we also have a mission, and that mission has to have activity. What do we want people to do? Right? What do we want? What kind of causes do we want them to get behind? What kind of lifestyle do we want them to live as a result of our products? Things like that. Okay. The next thing we're going to move on to is people. That's the second P word, people. And people represents, not every business has to have a large community, right? Depending upon what kind of company you have, you don't necessarily always have to have like a large tribe, right? So if you have a community that is more focused on, private dealings, things like that, you don't have to have 20,000 people following your company, right? Now you may want to have, a network of that, but you don't always have to have a large tribe. It depends upon what kind of business you have. But if you do have a business that's like a B2C, something like that, then you do want to have as healthy a tribe as possible. Does not necessarily mean a lot of people, but there's more visibility. So your people represents your community, which is also your target market, who you're for. Okay, who you are for. This is important. Who your company is for. Let's break this down and just break down people. Your people are your supporters. They're the people who support your business financially. They're the people who support your business through the movement that your business creates. It's not people who are, as I say, wannabes. Okay. And a lot of times what I found with many business owners is that they are not talking to their true target market. Instead, they're talking to people who don't really support them, but they may talk about your brand, right? Like there's people who actually are supporting them. And a lot of times when we look at, what brands are doing, they are coming out with new products and services that are based upon what their paying customers are saying, what they're doing. They're not basing, these things off of what 20,000 people who never bought their product are saying, right? Of course, unless it's like, this is reasons why they didn't buy it, right? But a lot of times we are focusing on people who are not our actual target market. And so this is why we're going to touch on a few things within people. Number one, you have to make sure that you have a way to filter your community, to know and make sure that the right people are actually who you're connected to, right? So let's use two extreme examples, Walmart and Neiman Marcus. Okay. Walmart brings in more revenue than Neiman Marcus. However, Walmart is a bigger company than Neiman Marcus, right? Neiman Marcus is a department store where Walmart is more of like almost like a supply and like almost like Amazon, like they're a huge chain of stores, right? There's a huge difference between Walmart and Neiman Marcus, but I want to use them in reference to their target audience. Okay, so Walmart, their whole premise is affordability for any person, right? And then you have Neiman Marcus that's focused on being a department store that is focused on like high-end fashion and different things. Okay, they have two different target markets, and so they speak to their clients differently. The branding is different, right? Walmart is more of like modern and kind of easy to look at. Things are organized, but it's also too, there's a lot of like information because you can buy everything from food to produce to bikes to automotive parts. So, and then you have new markets that's more for like I said before, the high end consumer shopper for lifestyle and clothing and fashion products. Well, a lot of times what people want to do is they want to say, well, I want the Neiman Marcus client and I want the Walmart client, right? It doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. You have to make sure, number one, that you don't pick your clients based on your emotions. And this is where I'm probably going to hit a silent part, right? So we don't pick our clients based on our emotions. Oh, I always would want to serve this person. And you have to actually look at what kind of business you're building. Let's just be truthful, because I don't charge off of my emotions. I charge off of what I need my profit to be, what I need my margins to look like. And a lot of times what I found with most business owners, when they launch their companies, they're just picking numbers out the sky, right? Which means that they really don't know how to run a company. So what you really have to first think about is it's not about what customer, do I want to feed to, right? Just to have it be anybody. You actually have to look at what kind of product are you putting out? How much does it actually cost for it to happen? If it's a service, how much you actually need for there to be profit within the business so that you can scale and grow. And once you get all those things done, then you will be able to really kind of hit which client you can go after or customer you can go after, right? And so we don't just pick numbers out the sky. We actually look at, number one, what are we providing? And then that will let us know what kind of people. So sometimes people kind of goes a little bit after products, but I think it's important though is that before you even release a product, you should first know, again, what kind of person are you going after? Also, too, you don't charge based on what you can afford. What you can afford, right? You may not be able to afford to pay $50,000 for a project, but your clients can. Okay, so we don't base our businesses off of emotion, off of what we've been through. I don't even, I have clients tell me the stuff they've been through, the life they've lived and all that. But at the end of the day, right, running this company has nothing to do with your backstory or, the fact that, you couldn't afford this or that. At this point, you can charge according to whatever you need to charge, okay, to run this company, run this business, and that's that. Okay, so I know that you may not be able to afford that, but we're not going to charge that. Well, if I was this person, I know that I couldn't afford this, so I don't think I'm going to charge someone something I can't afford. Then you're never going to be profitable. Okay, so you have to think about what you actually need to do to run your business. So when we talk about people, you have to not be emotional when it comes to people. I want to help everybody. I don't want anybody to miss out on what I'm doing. Well, that's not how it works. Marie, this is not how it works. You have to figure out, number one, are you an affordable business? And the thing about being affordable, let me just set this straight, is that if you're going to be affordable, remember what happens with affordability. You have to think about value, right? So if I'm doing, for instance, a $20 haircut, right? That is a very affordable price point. How many heads would I need to cut, right, to hit, let's say I want to do $10,000 in revenue. So how many heads would I need to cut? Or do I need to, hire more people? And then how does that influence my expenses? And so you have to think about it. The lower you go in price point, the higher the volume has to be, the more clients you need. And so when we talk about, I want to be affordable, I want to help everybody, that's fine. But just make sure that you understand that in order to make your money, you need people coming in droves, right? Because that's how it happens. Just like in retail, if I'm selling a $20 necklace and you're saying, okay, I'm going to hit my $10,000 goal. Well, you're going to have to sell a lot of necklaces. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to be prepared and not be disappointed when you only had 10 sales and you're like, I only made $100. Well, that's because you need value. You need more value. You need more people coming in, which means you have to think about like marketing efforts, being more consistent in certain places. But unfortunately, that is the name of the game, right? So if we go low, we have to have value. If we go high, we don't have as many clients. But usually that also means that the higher the price of the client, usually the more work that goes into it. And so even though you're having less clientele, you still have to put in a lot of work, right? Because usually you're going to be working with a higher end number. So this is where we have platform, we have people, and then now let's talk about products. And now, technically, we're already talking about the products, right? We're talking about, pricing, all that kind of stuff. But I also want to talk about like what your actual offerings are. And this is a great time in where we are right now, at the end of the year, to talk about your pricing as we go into 2020, your actual services. So the first thing that I would always suggest to clients when they're opening up their businesses is don't launch too many products. Okay, this is probably the number one faux pas of probably butchering that term, but basically the number one issue or problem that people have is that, especially if you're service based, you don't need to have 20 services. Right, you really don't, unless you have the manpower, right, and the human capital to support all these different services, right? But if you're one person, a solopreneur, you really cannot have like 30 or 20. You can't have 20 or 30 services. It's just not doable, right? So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you really actually have what I call like your basically like your benchmark services, right? That you actually have these stay in your arsenal, right? Because you don't have to offer a lot of services to make a lot of money, right? You just have to have your cornerstone or benchmark services that are like, again, the cornerstone of your business. The thing about that I found out with product though, and why sometimes people don't invest in products or services, number one is that you have to constantly enlarge your network. A lot of times we talk to the same people over and over and over again, and we're not enlarging our network. And so I have clients, for instance, coaching clients where we've done coaching calls, all this kind of stuff, but they did not enlarge their network. So they have been talking to the same people in the same circles for a very long time, and they weren't seeing an increase in profits, weren't seeing an increase in different things, and they were frustrated. And one of the things I told them, I said, well, you're not exposing your product or service to more people or to a diverse group. Sometimes we're only talking to people that look like us, walk like us, and talk like us because that's what we're comfortable with. What's happening is that now your money's getting comfortable, right? And your mindset's getting comfortable, which means that you're lazy. So what you have to do now is you have to think about, okay, in business, I have to have growing relationships, growing leads, right? That's a great way to think about it. If I want to have more leads, I got to have what? More relationships, more consistency in exposing my company. This is very true in retail as well. A lot of people are saying, Genesis, I launched my online store, I'm not getting any sales. Well, why are you waiting for people to buy online? Why don't you go in person and start the trail? Why don't you start selling in person? Why don't you start doing that? Well, I gotta go find this. I gotta go. Well, you're lazy. It takes work, right? So either you're gonna sit and you're gonna wait and you're gonna be disappointed, or you're going to go out and you're going to go get sales. Either or, there is no in between, right? The same thing happens in networking. If you're not networking, if you're not putting yourself in new environments where the people are your opposite, where they don't look like you, they don't walk like you, they don't talk like you, they don't live in the same neighborhoods as you, awesome. That means that therefore you're exposing your company, your brand to more and more people. And that is something that when it comes to product and selling product and creating products, that we have to also think about the fact that we want to increase the visibility of our business. We don't just want to be around the same people. So you have to ask yourself, what are you doing either by the end of this year or by next year to increase the visibility, to increase how many people see you, who sees you, right? All these things, excuse me, guys, all these things are going to help your business. Okay. So I want to go over what we just covered because I'm not trying to go any deep today. I just wanted to kind of scratch the surface and get you guys thinking, but I want to give you guys some homework and some questions. So we talked about the P3 process. The P3 process that I teach is platform, people, and product. And again, the reason why I'm teaching this is because a lot of people rush to have product, but they end up not having a successful business because that's all they have is a product. Right. And one of the things I learned about in building my company is that, I've been able to become very successful, but not have to do a lot of things that other people are doing because of a lot of the activities that other people are doing. They're not profitable and they really are a waste of time. At the end of the day, there are three things you need to solidify my P3 system. You got to get your platform together. You got to get your mission, your vision. You got to make sure that it's something that's worth fighting for and worth building, right? Has to be greater than just your service, right? And that's going to actually help people draw to you. The second thing that I got was people. I had to make sure that I was talking to the right people. That also meant that I had to make sure I was in the right rooms. You don't wait for customers to come, you go and get them. Okay. I know that we live in a world where we just kind of sit back and wait, but I don't have time to wait. I don't have the luxury to just wait. So I go out and I go out and this is the thing that I talk about in my other workbook, the S word, which is in sales. A lot of people aren't good at sales too. And that's why they struggle because we're waiting on people. You don't have time to wait. What I do is I go out, I meet people. As I'm talking to people, I'm starting up a conversation. In that conversation, I'm trying to figure out, okay, what are their needs? What are their wants? What do they really want? And then I'm moving them to a meeting, right? And then guess what? From there, I'm closing a deal. So this is the reason why when we talk about the P3 system, this system is meant for you to not just sit on it, but meant for you to create, build, go out, obtain the clients, close the deals, and keep it moving, right? So that's why we're getting platform, people, and then product. You got to make sure that you're selling a product that people want, making sure that you have a service that is well needed in the industry and can adapt to the industry, right? So if you see your industry changing, you do need to reassess how you're running your company and what services you're running, because maybe some services are outdated. And what you need to do is innovate to make sure that you can kind of bring your services to match 2020, to match the future of your marketplace, right? And so that's why you need to study your market so you can figure out where it's going and then how your services can eventually catch on fire, right? And so that you can basically be at the top of the piles at the bottom. And then the other thing that we touched on within product is that making sure that our products, that we don't have a ton, right? Your business does not have to be Cheesecake Factory where you have 100 different offerings. You want to become well known for something. Right. And you got to figure out what is that. And it can't be the generic. It's not like, oh, well, she's well known for design. That's not enough. What is she well known for? I'm going to give this example and then I'm going to be done. My design company has changed a lot. And especially in the past, I would say definitely the past 2 months, right? Because the more and more I've been running my business, the more and more I've been seeing eventually what our true niche was, And so when I first started my design company back in like 2014, actually it was like 2012, but it kind of really took off in 2014. But basically in a nutshell, I started out as just a graphic designer, regular graphic designer. And because I was just a regular graphic designer, I did not have a niche, right? Which means that I couldn't charge thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars because I was just a regular designer. I didn't have anything special. And then what ended up happening was that I began to work with different clientele, right? And I began to really like sharpen in on my skill sets and things like that. And then fast forward, we changed our name when we first Gigi Creates. Then we changed, actually no. Before I was in Gigi Creates, I was Uni Gigi at Gigi Creates. This is like when I first got started. Then we changed our name. We became Genesis Digital Agency. And we changed from that into Glam Print Go. And the reason why I kept on changing the name was because I was trying to figure out, where I wanted my company to go. And across the time of building my company, I started to see the different needs and services that we needed to create. And especially if you're in a service-based business, a lot of your deals will be done in person and through networking relationships, right? So this is why, even though I love social media and it makes my money for my tribe, for my service-based business, a lot of my deals are done behind the scenes. That's why LinkedIn is awesome. If you're going to be on social media for your service-based business, use LinkedIn. And so anyway, fast forward to Glam Print Go. When we fast forward to now, like right now in this moment for my company, we found the niche. Like we found the space that we knew was like going to separate us from just a normal designer. And that was the fact that we brought our expertise to the table. A lot of times people are providing services, but there's no expertise. Like you're not separating yourself as an expert, a thought leader, someone that can basically is a leader within the market. And when you do that, you separate your company. You separate your company from the crowd, period. So don't just sell, body lotion. That's regular. Be an expert in skincare. Be someone that knows skin, right? That separates you from the crowd. Don't just be a barber. Be someone who's an expert at hair. And it's funny because I know a lot of people have cosmetology licenses and they have their, degree and all that kind of stuff, but they don't show themselves as an expert. You're just another barber. You're just another hairstylist. What makes you great? What makes me wanting to pay more for your service? That way you can scale your business, right? So when we think about our products and our services, this is why positioning yourself that's what I did in my company. So we went from regular graphic designers to now in the past couple of weeks, I've been closing deals that are focused on product development, right? So now what I do is I work with leaders, gurus, and experts where we create products for them, whether they're planners, journals, workbooks, online courses. And our whole motto is that we package their passion. So we work with people who have expertise, they're passionate about what they do, and then we take their mind and we turn it into products and services and pretty much a whole business that they can basically run with. That's all based upon the knowledge, because people that we work with, they're teachers. They love to teach. They love to help empower people. So what we do is we take their brain, we turn it into products and services that they can then monetize. And we found that this was such a great niche because, number one, not a lot of people can do it. Or if they can do it, they're not passionate about it. They just see it as a moneymaker. Whereas because I'm passionate about it and because it's something that I do for myself, right? That's another difference. I do it for myself, right? It has helped me to build a company now where when I walk into a room and propose deals and pitches and things like that, I'm very confident in the price point. I don't shirk at the price. I'm not like, oh my God, I can't believe we're going to charge this client this much. I'm like, no, this is actually too low, right? And so it's because as you get more and more into your field, don't just be a regular service provider, be an expert service provider, be an expert retailer. Don't just say, oh, we sell jewelry. Become a jewelry expert, like become somebody who's like the ultimate fashionista, right? Don't just become a seller, right? Because that leaves you here. When you become an expert in your industry, where you know fashion, whatever, it brings you here. So you're not just like someone who sells jewelry. You're a fashion lover who sells jewelry. Huge difference. And when you brand your company as so, it really expands who you are as a business, right? And hopefully that helps you. But I want you to really understand, don't just be like a t-shirt seller. Please don't do that. I know there's ads that say, oh, I made $1 million off of Shopify selling t-shirts, right? And, people run to that and they're like, but at the end of the day, guys, let me tell you something. What's going to make you more than a fad is having a foundation. Right? If you want to be more than just a passing fad, right? I mean, great, you're going to make 6 figures in 1 month. And then what happens after that month? Right? What happens 3 years down the road? Are you going to still have a great company? So you want to make sure that you're understanding that you're building a platform. You're building. So like, even when I talk to people who have t-shirt companies, you're not just launching a t-shirt business. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because then guess what? You're like every other person that's launching a t-shirt business in their basement. You have to be bigger than that. What is your t-shirt company's mission? What do you seek to do? Why did you start the company? What's your mission behind selling these t-shirts? What kind of messages do you want to spread? Is it of jokes? Is it of fun? Is it of encouragement? Is it of inspiration? Is it to bring people together? Like make it bigger than what it is, right? When you make it bigger than just the product, you're going to see that you're building a true company. That's what a real company, it's bigger than the product. It's a bigger vision. It's a bigger idea, something that stretches you past what you see currently in front of you. And when you do that, you're going to build a great business. So hopefully you guys learned some things. I know I feel like I've definitely given some great information, but you still may have questions. Again, the P3 system is platform, people, and products. And again, like I said before, is that if you want to learn more about what I just taught on, what I just started teaching on, you want to go get Boss Builder. And Boss Builder is my 30-day workbook. It's called Boss Builder. Okay, it's 30 days to build your tribe. And it answers 30 questions. 20 of them are business, 10 of them are about church and ministry, because I want to cover, those sides as well. And it's a great resource. It's one of those resources where you don't just read it, and there's literally activities after every single section. So there's 30 sections. And after every section, there's activity. There's at least one activity for you to do so that you can execute on what you just learned. So you'll read, and then there's a question. It's a full page, and you'll execute on that page. And you go to the next section, you read, and there's execution. So the reason why I wanted to go over this is because it's literally like my number one resource, and it's that for a reason. And so I wanted to come on here and talk about it because right now Boss Builder is 50% off the digital version. The S word is also 50% off. And the S word is for those of you who are, we'll talk about the S word tomorrow. I'm going to do a separate video on the S word because that's a whole other lesson. But Boss Builder is going to really help you. I want to go over for you guys what is included. I just sent out an email to my tribe actually of what's inside Boss Builder. So if you're not on my email list, go to genesisdorsey.com and get it. Hey, Kim. So the Boss Builder is broken down into 3 sections, the workbook. Okay. And again, it's 50% off. So all you have to do is go to my store, which is store.genesisdorsey.com and get it. And so the reason I'm talking about this is not because I need your guys' every single dollar, right? It's because I wrote these resources because people actually need help, right? So it goes over things like, okay, what is a community when it comes to my business? What is community? Because when we talk about building, let's say you're launching a jewelry store, you're selling cakes or pies, right? If you really want to scale that cake and pie business, you're going to eventually have to have a background story. You're going to have some kind of emotional connection, right? You're going to need to build a following. Well, it starts here. So what is community? How do you establish your voice? What is branding and how does it relate to building my tribe and community? How do I tell my story and yet be transparent at the same time? Now that's why I get to that. That's a good one. Because sometimes we want to tell all our business. You don't need to. How do I set up and grow my email list? How do I build confidence in my voice? So we talked about establishing it, but how do you build the confidence? How do I create a content calendar, right? So you got social media, you got your blog. How do you organize all that together? How do I create a funnel for my business in retail? How do I create a funnel for my business if I'm in service or sales? Okay, then we go to section 2, scale and sale. Then we go into how do I grow my tribe when it comes to an MLM business? Let's say you're multi-level marketing. How do you do it? How do I effectively price what I do? How do I create a product, okay, as a service-based business? Okay, so we talk about that. How can networking benefit my business? How do I do it correctly? Because a lot of people do not know how to effectively network. For real. And so it's important that you understand what real networking is about. I have met people who know all of these people and are still broke. And that part confuses me a lot, but it doesn't really confuse me because I know why, because networking is not about just connecting to people. It's about connecting to the right people. It's about connecting in the right environment. It's about conversion. So if I'm meeting, let's say I'm going to a networking event, I'm meeting all these people. Well, what's my conversion rate from meeting people to establishing relationship and then those relationships benefiting me and vice versa, right? It's a give and take situation. So you have to be also too in the right environments. A lot of people network in wrong environments. So you network with around people who, they're into business, but they're not executing. I look at what people have done in the room. I just don't, I don't, I go to entrepreneurship events all the time. I'm an entrepreneur. Oh, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh, everybody in the room's an entrepreneur. Right. And so then I ask questions. Okay, tell me about your company. Tell me what you've done. Okay, so basically you ain't doing nothing. Okay, great. You've been, I've been in business for 20 years. Okay, what have you done in 20 years? The same thing. Okay, so and it's not to be rude, but see, the thing about me, and this is what I teach, you guys know me, especially if you've been following me for a long time or have been on my YouTube channel. You know this, right? I don't have time to waste. Maybe you do, but I don't. So I've been doing this for several years now. I'm 27. I have goals that I want to hit by a certain measurement. By 30, I know what I want. Doesn't mean I'm going to, everything's be perfectly happening. But see, I'm a Christian. And so I believe that I will have what I say. Now, if you don't believe that you'll have what you say, that is a personal problem that you have chosen to have. But for me, the way that I align, the way that I set up my life, I hear from God and I walk accordingly. And according to his word, whatever he's promised, I will have. He does not lie. So when God tells me that I'll have this, that's what I'll have. And I have never, ever gone without from what God said. So if God said, Genesis, you're going to build it this way. Hey, Jaleesa, that's the way it's been built. God told me what's going to happen in 3 years. That's what's going to happen. So I'm not this is very important when it comes to your business, right? When we look at gurus and all no rules and all these people, we talk about networking, things like that. Guys, let me tell you something. You are according to what God said. It's going to come to pass, period, right? You have to build your business according to what God said. Period. Because what's going to happen is this economy and different things will try to make you feel as if you're going to miss out. You'll hear from a guru tell you that if you don't do this in this time, you're going to miss out. Your business will not be what it's going to be. Okay. You stay over there and you tell me. Okay. You tell me if I don't buy your product, my business is going to fall apart. Right. Okay. whoa, didn't know you were God, right? So you have to realize like you are not missing out on anything. Let me just tell you something, right? And so when we talk about networking, that's why in Boss Builder, I talk about networking in here because a lot of people don't know what real networking is about. Networking is not about being seen. A network is for you to build a behind the scenes support system that supports you in connections to understanding the industry that you're in, but also to connecting to moving and having more mobility in the industry that you're in. So a lot of people network for visibility's sake. But at the end of the day, I cannot pay my phone bill because I know so and so and so and so. I may be able to get a discount. I may be able to, like, you can get favors through connections. But at the end of the day, when you pay your bills, you also need some kind of monetary conversion to happen, right? So it's like, okay, I got to endure. I was able to get this job. I was able to get this opportunity, right? But a lot of people know all these people and are still broke. So that's why I talk about that in Boss Builder, about understanding like, what does it actually mean for true networking? Then we talk about what else is in here. What's the purpose of a Facebook group? Because you starting a Facebook group and you thinking that you're going to get, even if you have all these thousands of people, I've had clients who have over 10,000, 100,000. I've seen 200,000 people in a Facebook group, and they have not been able to convert those people because what's happened is that you have to make sure: are you building a community that is like a, just like a friendship community? Are you building a business? Because those Facebook groups will work differently. You can have a room, a Facebook group of over 100,000 people, but those people have not been trained to invest in you. They've been trained to talk to each other. And so you have to know from the jump what kind of training. And I talk about this in my email list, right? If you guys are on my email list, y'all are missing out so much. Y'all, I know what y'all doing. Anyway, so I talked about it in my emails that you have to train people to do what you want them to do. If you train people to never invest in you, they will never invest in you. If you train them to only love you for free, they will only love you for free. And we train by our consistency and our action. Listen to me, business owners. So if I'm not consistently talking about my product for sale, not just talking about the product, I'm talking about a product for sale, for investment. No wonder your sales have dropped because you talk about your business so much, but in a free context that people don't connect. Oh, it actually costs something. Right. Well, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to. It's funny because when I think about all the companies that you buy from, they have no problem talking about the investment. You think McDonald's is going to put up a menu with no pricing? Now, again, I'm not saying that on your website you put up your prices because I don't put up my prices. I do have like a range of things. But what I'm saying is that when I talk about my services, people know that it costs something. It's not like, oh, this is a product. We're just going to talk all day about my product. We're just going to talk all day about it. Yeah, that's it. No, it costs something, right? Right. On top of that, right, in talking about, trying to cover these things, in talking about in Boss Builder, when we talk about things such as our products, the way that we price them or things like that, it's also understanding that you have a duty to collect. Do not become someone who is addicted to making things and not profiting off of them. You're going to become a very frustrated business owner, actually, because you are addicted to create. And that's a whole other video, but okay, just don't become that person. So you have to understand what we do with our Facebook groups. You have to understand too, what's the goal of social media. And so that's the question: what is the goal of social media for my community? We also talk about here what are ads good for, Facebook ads, and then how do we use them, social media ads. We talk about how do I manage my time within my business to get all of this done, because you have to have a way to manage getting all of it done, right? Especially if you have multiple companies. The next question we talk about is how do you not give up when you desire to quit? Because that's going to happen. Okay. Number 20, I own a hair salon and I need more clients. How do I gain them? I put that in there because I have a lot of hair salon owners or salon owners that follow me in my email list. And so I will eventually be working on something for them. But I wanted to address that because that was a question that I got a lot of. Then we talk about church growth because a lot of you guys know I have over 1,200 pastors and creative leaders that are on my email list as a separate list, actually. And I get a lot of questions about church and ministry, and I'm working on having a separate YouTube channel for that kind of content because it is a whole other world. But I do have a section in this workbook that is for churches, and it's actually very good. It is very good. And so we target things such as how do you build a community when it comes to ministry? How about within a church? Is there a difference? Because being a ministry in a church are two different things. You can have a ministry and not be a pastor, but in order to be a pastor, you have to have a church. So I talk about how to build community as a ministry and then how to build community as a church, right? Because church, there's membership. So the way that you strategically build that, it does differ. We talk about how do we grow our church using multiple strategies. So we talk about that section. This section is good. We talk about things such as how do you do like onboarding for new members? We talk about things in the workbook, such as how do you understand like your conversion rates as a church? Like, okay, so, and you may say that's kind of like too business like, but actually it's the foundations of relationships, right? So like when someone joins a church, or let's say they visit a church, right? Do you check in on them? And then what is your check-in process once they visited? And then what's the conversion rate, right? From visitor to member. Because if you've had 30 visitors and none of them became members, like none of them thought oh, this is a church I want to connect to, you have some questions to ask. And a lot of people don't ask questions, and that's why their churches are not healthy, because they don't want to ask the question. Like they literally don't want to ask the question, why are we having all these visitors but no one's becoming a member? So as a church, you have to ask those questions. And if you don't ask those questions, that's on you. But a great church team is going to say, okay, this month we've had 30 visitors, this many decided to come back, or this many actually became a member. And we want to know why they became a member, because we want to know as a church, why are they connecting to community? What does community look for us as a church, right? Things like that. The workbook also includes, again, if you're just joining, we're talking about the Boss Builder workbook, where 20 of the days are devoted to business and 10 of them are devoted to church. Okay. Then we also talk about what tools does our church need to manage and promote our community. We talk about events in this section for churches, because a lot of churches waste their budget on events. And I know this because I have a separate side of my company that's focused on church consulting. So I travel to mega church, things like that, and I work with them. And there's a lot that is wasted. And that includes events. A lot of churches waste their money on events because we're trained to have like all these events in the church calendar, right? And we actually bleed through the money because we want to have all these revivals, we have all this stuff. And then the question becomes, okay, what was the measurables of our success? A lot of people in church say stuff like, oh, well, it's just to keep the people encouraged, right? Yes, there will be a space for questions at the end. I'm almost done. People say stuff like, oh, we want to keep the people encouraged, right? But like, okay, does that mean that you had to do 30 events this month for that, or 30 events for the whole year? What were the measurables of that? So we talk about things for churches such as like, okay, you want to look at your church, right? And you want to create at least a 1 mile radius, and then you can create radiuses out of that, right? You want to figure out, okay, how are we connecting with our community in around us? If our church is not targeted to those around us, because sometimes that is the case, right? You have churches that are located in the city, but the majority of their members are from the suburbs, right? So how are we targeting our target member, right? And then outside of that, okay, how are we measuring how we do events? So what are the measurables that will make this a successful event? So you have how many people actually come, but you also could have a spiritual measurement of, okay, how many souls do we want to save? What's our goal of souls that we want to save? Because that's important. You may say a measurement may be, okay, we want to make sure that we're seeing at least 10% of our youth membership attending Bible study, right? So if you have a youth Bible study, you're doing all these events. Well, how many of the youth are actually attending from your church? Then how many of them are external, visitors? So we talk about things like that. We also talk about, I'm a pastor. How do I engage our community consistently through my teachings? We talk about sermon planning. It is really good. Then we talk about how does a church use social media to expand their reach? We talk about a church using a content calendar for effective communication. We talk about what should a church website include? What kind of platforms can you use? Then we talk about how just personally branding your pastors help the church, because that is a huge wave. Now, this was written in 2017, so it was written 2 years ago. And this content rings true still. This workbook, God did that, okay? So we talk about that because right now, personally branding pastors is becoming the next big push behind their church, right? Because people in this day and age want to know the leadership, right? Back in the day, people wanted to know the pastor, but it was more focused on the church. Now, people are going to churches because of the leadership, right? People are following, because of especially online platforms, right? People are following, a lot of you guys who are Christians are following pastors that aren't even your pastor, right? You're listening to their sermons online, on YouTube, podcasts. Instagram, right, aren't even your pastors. But guess what? You're connecting with their church or you're connecting with their platform. So we talk about how a personally branded church, a personally branded leadership can benefit their church. So all of that, all of those 30 things are in Boss Builder. So again, 20 days devoted to business and 10 days devoted to ministry and church systems. So if you have not gotten Boss Builder, I highly recommend you go get Boss Builder, the workbook. Again, 20 days that covers your business, and then 10 days cover your church. We're done. Okay, so now I see questions. So Khalees says, hi, Genesis. I'm a licensed therapist in California. I'm thinking about doing coaching with you regarding what to do next. My niche is women's mental health and relationships. That is awesome. I actually have a few clients that are therapists, licensed therapists, licensed social workers, and a psychologist. So that awesome. Well, I'd love to have you as a client. And again, my new coaching programs, they roll out the end of this year, which I'm excited. And so, yeah. So guys, now it's time for questions. If you have any questions, be sure to type them in. I'm going to give a couple of minutes just to give you guys time to ask questions regarding everything that we've covered. Yes, Allison. So Allison says on Facebook, finally got my hand on the Boss Builder. Thanks for that great price. She says, yes, it's 50% off. You really can't beat it. And we do it around this time for Black Friday. So it's awesome. When you guys are dropping in comments, I'm going to just check something real quick. People are buying. Okay. Awesome. Let me see here. Got another email. Hold on. Got it, Lisa. I'm sure she's on live. Actually, who is this? Someone else. Okay. Hopefully you guys, if you're on my email list, hopefully you guys are submitting your information for the yearbook. We have been getting entries every day, and I'm really excited about this. And so if you're on my email list, only those on my email list have access to being a part of the yearbook because you are you're not just a follower, you're actually in my email list, which means that you get all my emails. And so the yearbook is really big. We're going to put that out on Christmas Day as a free resource. And basically it is a end of the year recap of all the success of our community here at Boss Builder Nation. And so we have business owners and platform builders who are submitting their business information. And so you have the ability to tell us about, what your business is about, the mission of your business, what it has like interview questions. And so I'm really excited because we're going to start laying it out starting the end of this week, early next week. And it's going to basically be a yearbook of, you're going to be reading stories of all these different business owners, the businesses that they've built, and learning about products they've had, services they have, and then how to connect with them. And the awesome thing about it is that every interview includes inspiration from that particular business owner to encourage other business owners. So it's going to be something really special. And if you were someone who got the email and you're sitting on it, that's going to be on you. Okay, fill out the yearbook because I'm so excited, and it's free for the community. It's just going to be basically our way of connecting with each other as a community for a full year of work that we've put in as business owners, entrepreneurs, ministry leaders. It has been a crazy year, and I'm so excited. And it's also going to include a recap of what GenesisDorsey.com has been able to do, because we've been able to do a lot this year, and there's a lot of things I didn't talk about, but we'll be able to put into the yearbook. So yeah. Okay. So I just want to make sure I've answered the questions. There was somebody who said that they had a question. I just wanted to make sure that I answered it. Hey, Nicole, I'm glad that you were enjoying this. I'm glad that it was a prayer answered. I'm so glad. Hey, Martha. Hey, Marsha. Hey, Camille. Hey, guys. Okay, so I'm going to end it on Facebook. See you guys later. Great joining in with you. Be sure to grab Boss Builder. And then on Instagram, hopefully you guys were able to get some information. If you missed out, do not worry. This is, of course, going to be on YouTube as always. Let me make sure I got YouTube up here. I'm going to see you guys YouTube. See you guys later. See you guys soon. And then Instagram.